Hey y'all, it's Erroneous Maximus III here, or Aaron, as normal people call me. I'm back at Noff Noff. I had it again. Of course, I didn't get the harissa this time. Like, I got the Super Weenie Hut Jr. version of sauce, which is tahini, which is literally just like sesame seeds. So, what I wanted to talk about today, first I will preface this, as for those who may not know me or are new to me. So I've been in the Apostolic Pentecostal Church for about 20 years now. What sets us apart is, we believe in full submersion baptism in the name of Jesus, being filled with the Holy Ghost, like evidenced by speaking in other tongues. Like, that sets us apart from mainstream Christianity. So living with like that for the majority of my life, it definitely sets me apart from the majority of society. But on top of that, about the time when I first came into church, I had been hit by the puberty truck. You know how that goes, And of course, like me, like, I was a naive kid. Like, I found out the hard way. Like, it just kind of happened. And I'm like, oh, my body's changing. Oh, why do I want to look at other people's bodies? Ooh, what are these? Why do I feel some type of way? So, for me, it wasn't all like, oh my gosh, girls. It was like, oh my gosh, boys. Like, and I didn't realize that was a thing. I had never heard of homosexuality, or like that could even be a thing. Like, if I even like heard of something like that at that time. What age did this happen? Maybe like age 13 or 14. Like, I probably would have given you like a look like, that's a thing? That can exist? That doesn't happen. Balderdash. But hey, it happened to me, and suddenly I'm just like thrown into like this whole sitch of like, oh my gosh, I'm not like other dudes. Because I like other dudes, and it's like, okay. That all happened right as I was coming into church, and like, then it was preached that it's a sin, and I'm like, what do I do with all this? So now I'm a minority as like this particular brand of Christian, and now I am a super minority with this type of shenanigans going on up in here, because puberty's just like, meh, smack, you're gonna be different. And I'm also mixed too, so that I'm a minority that way too. So it's like my whole entire existence is like a minority. Like, I'm just like this, like, ain't nobody understand me. And of course I had to be a Myers-Briggs INFJ, which is like 1% of the population, maybe even less. Why do I gotta be so weird? Why am I gotta be so like born and just like I'm all messed up. Like, I can't socialize, like, and fit in. I never fit in anywhere. I've always been a misfit. I think that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Said all that to say, this is the time of year where... Oh, okay. Thought somebody was hissing at me. I'm like, you better hiss somewhere else, sir. Ooh, threw me out my groove. So this particular month of June, which it's hard for me every time it comes around, because everything is kind of thrown in my face. Because, well, the majority of my social circle are, the Christians, and have a firm stance against homosexuality and all the like, the LGBTQIA plus community or whatever. And then at the same time, it's like, I have gay friends who are loud and proud promoting their brand, their, them. They're celebrating them. So it's like, I'm kind of stuck in the middle, where it's like, they're kind of barking at each other, and I'm just sitting here like, where do I fit in? So this time of month is hard for me, because this time of year, I should say, not time of month. This time of year, June. By the way, why is June Pride Month? I had to Google this last night, and I've heard of this, but for those who don't know why the month of June was chosen as Pride Month, it is the anniversary It was actually June 28th, which is my birthday, but this was June 28th of 1969, way before my time. There was a New York City club. Now, I've only researched this like very briefly, but from my understanding, it was, it's just a bar, a place to hang out, for people to hang out. But at that time in the U.S., public displays of affection between members of the same sex was a no-no. It was illegal. So this particular club, it wasn't like advertised as a gay club, but if you were in the in crowd, you knew that was a place to be. Let's have a kiki. On this particular date, in like the wee hours of the morning, some police came and raided the bar, and it was like this whole scene causing havoc. And I saw one source say that they were trying to get, I guess there would be drag queens, to like line up and go into the bathroom one by one, and there would be a gender check, if you know what I mean. Check downstairs, and then if the parts didn't match the label, get arrested. So I don't know, there was like this whole big scene, and it started a riot, like a huge riot, like brick throwing, and the gays like against the police. And this lasted for like 6 days from what I've read, and that was like a major point in our American history, or U.S. history, of the gay rights movement, like trying to make a place for themselves, like so they could not just be attacked like that. So that's why June is Pride Month, because it's in honor of that, people standing up for what they believe are their rights. I said all that to say it's hard for me this time of year because lots of misunderstanding and heated conflict between both sides of where I am in life. And I guess I have to share a little bit more of my story. So like, my priority is to my Christian beliefs, and I just gotta say this, since I've always been a minority, it's like I've always been on my own. I've always felt like I've been on my own. So it's like, in this whole 20 years, I've had people from both sides and all in between get in my face and tell me how I should live my life, like whether I ask for it or not. And everyone typically has like a strong opinion, but like, don't let them bother you. Like, oh, let them bother you. Like, oh, you going to hell. It's like, oh, you need to repent, or oh, just live it out. And it's like, I've heard it all. Just get a boyfriend. Just blah blah blah. Just sleep around. And like, it's dizzying. Like, I am hypersensitive, and like I don't like being told what to do. I don't like having people in my face, and just. So like, this whole time it's just been like, I'm just kind of chilling here and people yell at me, and I don't go in other people's faces. I don't do that to other people. Like, I don't tell other people how to live their lives. That's not me. I'm a very live and let live type of person. I like to let people open up and tell me like what their life experiences has taken them, Apparently that's rare. I learned that the hard way. Not a lot of people are like that. And usually around this time of year, like, well, since the majority of my crowd are like Christian friends, a lot of them like in war against maybe like gays posting things about gay pride or like rainbow flags and support. Christians will see the word, like, Christians will eat that up, and they'll be like, oh, pride, you know what they say about pride. The Bible says about pride goes before a fall. Or they'll say something about the rainbow being God's promise, and the gays stole it, and it's like, there's no question why. Like, it frustrates me how Christians lack tactful interpersonal skills. Because it really irritates me, because they're just so quick to snap judgment and criticism, and it's like they don't go to like, okay, well, why are these people this way? Like, what brought them this way? Like, why did they choose this path? Which leads me to another segue. Why do people choose that way of life if it's just a lifestyle of constant criticism? It's a lifestyle of hell, you know. My question to that is, but is it a choice? And I'll answer that like this. Now, this is just coming from my perspective. Having the feelings of, you know, being attracted to the same sex or both sexes or whatever, that's not a choice. Like, that's happened. Like, fate just comes in your face and it's like, bam, and it happens. Or like, even with like transgenderism, like, I know how that is. Like, I've been there too. Like, I felt like I was more, it would be easier, life would be so much easier if I were a woman than a dude, because I've always felt more, I felt like I could relate more to women than to guys. And I actually just came from a men's get together this morning, probably like 100 some men, and like still to this day, like I just feel like a sore thumb sticking out. Like, it's like nothing, I have nothing against them, it's fine. It's just, it's a completely different culture for me. Like, I walk in there and I feel like I don't belong. And it's not that anybody's coming in my face and be like, you don't belong. Almost like that. Everyone's real nice, and I'm nice to everyone. I try to be. I mean, I'll be honest, in that type of environment, I'm severely anxious. Just because, you know, that's an area where I'm just really, really uncomfortable. So sometimes anxiety translates to other people as rude, but I digress. You can't choose those types of feelings. The only thing you can choose is whether you give in to the feelings. You can choose to like resist. You can choose to deny yourself the satisfaction of giving in to those types of desires. But my question after that is like, how realistic and how realistic is it to dedicate your life to resistance, like constant, everyday resistance of having those feelings? And these are like, it's not something that you can just, it's not like a fly on the wall. It's something that's screaming at you every day. At least it is for me. Like I said, I've been at this for 20 years, and for the most part, I've resisted. There were times when I've had close encounters where I've almost gotten into a relationship. I think it was like once, actually, let's be honest. I don't know, I'm just weird as a person in general, so it's like I don't have any luck either way. So it's been easy for me to resist because there's nothing to resist. I don't even have temptation, like, hardly ever available to me. And it's really hard to exist in like this church culture where, you know, man, he's in his maybe late teens, early 20s, maybe getting 30 in general, and then a man will like find a wife, have some kids, and then it's like all hunky-dory, and then that's the typical culture of our culture. But where do I fit into that? Like, I don't. It's like I have no idea like what it's like to be attracted to a woman. I seriously no idea. Like, there's no interest. I mean, I love women as friends. The majority of my friends are, like, my closest friends are all women. Like, it's just easy for me to open up to a woman than to a man because of all this. And, you know, once I get close to them, it's like, that's it. Like, I feel satisfied. Like, I don't feel the need to be like, let's get married and have some kids. It's like, please, let's not. I don't have those types of desires. I genuinely do not. And I will admit there were times when I tried to force myself with like pornography. Like I tried to force myself. This was like years and years ago. Try to force myself to like look at women like that, and I'm just like, no, I can't. It's just I can't. It's not my thing. That was a dumb idea, but hey, it happens. Some people, and that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing new. Like I know other guys who have done that, try to do that same thing, where they try to force themselves. Like I even tried to force myself into a heterosexual relationship. That was back in my teens. Yeah, that didn't work out. It was a 3-year relationship, 3-year waste of time. Like, awesome girl. It's just, and we remained like besties for years. But like that's just, I didn't want anything more. Like it's, like just give me a hug and that's it. Like I'm good. Have some conversation. But anyway, my whole like thing about this confrontation between like both these sides, that no one wants to feel like the underdog. So I noticed that with the word pride, and it's not just like gay pride, it could be like American pride or Christian pride. I'm proud to be a Christian, I'm proud to be an American, like, or Italian pride, black pride. That's been a thing as of recently, and I know there are people out there who like complain about us having Black History Month when it's like, well, where's White History Month? And it's like, the whole thing about like pride in these types of contexts, I think a lot of people who are on the other side of that, they interpret that as arrogance, like where these people who are proud, who are showing pride, are trying to proclaim themselves as better than everyone else, like they're putting themselves on a pedestal, when that's not the case at all. I mean, at least it shouldn't be the case. It's not the intended case. I'm sure there are people who are extra, but no one wants to feel like the underdog. So I think like when a lot of people say like gay pride, then those who are not gay, they're like, well, straight pride, because they don't think anything of it. Like they don't think, because usually when people say that type of pride, they're trying to, it's more of like a confidence. They're trying to assert their confidence that no one can bring them down because they've always been brought down. And just to like put people down for having pride like that, I think it's a very ignorant action and a very disrespectful, but I don't think it's like blatant disrespect. I don't think people mean to be disrespectful like that. It's more of a like, oh, well, my life matters too. It's like, well, your life has always mattered, because like it's them, the people who want to have some pride. They want to have like some pride in their existence. They want to be like, I'm here, like, because it's basically like for second place. Because usually when people are promoting like such and such pride, they're in last place, or they're like in 25th place, or in second place, or whatever. Or let's just put it this way, they're in second place, and they're saying something pride, like saying they're trying to elevate themselves from second place like to an equal level, and only to be like told, well, such and such pride for the people who are already in first place. That's a slap in the face, because that's literally like what this is like. It's just a slap in the face. So for people to proclaim that type of pride, it's to elevate themselves to an equal level. So everybody wants to feel confident in something, you know, like, and if people don't feel confident in a certain type of lifestyle that they're trying to be confident in, like, they're eventually gonna duck out and leave, and they're gonna go to somewhere where they could be more confident. And that's where I've seen like a lot of people in the church like leave the church who are in my situation, who have like gay attractions or whatever, and like they genuinely try to be confident in the way that church culture promotes, and after a while, when it's just, they're just trying to force something upon themselves, and it's just like it ain't working, and they're always insecure, that's not something you that's not something that humans stick around, because humans always look for something they're going to be confident in. They want to feel like they're somebody. They want to feel like they have purpose, that they're somewhere for a reason. Yeah, and that's why that's why like the gay rights movement happened, because like, well, we tried to fit in. It's like that didn't work, so we just, if we can't beat them, join them. So we created our own community, and then like, oh, what's that? And we're illegal. You want to kill us? And it's like, fight back. And that's how like the whole gay rights movement, or any type of equal rights movement, people just trying to find their place, like where they best. And so that's my dilemma. That's why it's hard for me this time of year, because this issue is like up in front and like in my face, and be like, yeah, I kind of hide this time of year. But look, I'm not hiding now. I'm talking about all this. So yeah, that's me. That's my sitch. Trying to live my best life. Like, trying to live my best life for the Lord. Because I love the Lord. He's a good Lord. Really. He really is. Like, I'm here because I choose to be. Like, I could have left the church like many times. I tried many times. I'm like, no, this isn't really something I want to do. Like, I love it way too much. I don't like always agree with every single little thing. I might be at odds with some folks, but you get that literally anywhere. Because, well, like some of you may have watched my videos before, like I'm doing like this intensive Bible study where I'm like studying Hebrew. I literally just bought a book on to study Greek. I'll do that a while on from now. And I'm in the process of writing a 4-book series that's Bible based. So I am going into it, and my belief systems, I kind of excused. This might have been like a year or two ago, where I set like my apostolic Pentecostal beliefs aside, or I completely threw them out, and I'm like, I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna keep going to church. Like this is my family. These are my peeps. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, like with what I already know. But as I'm like researching all this, I'm kind of rebuilding my faith, and with all that, I've realized that like who I am, like who I'm meant to be, like, and this is a continual process. I've never like arrived. Like, I'm a human being. I'm only in my 30s. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure myself out. Like, I still feel like a teenager who's like, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am. Because I never grew out of that. I still don't know like what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure this out day by day. But and it's hard too, because there aren't really people out there to seek counsel from in this matter, or there are very, very few people. Because I've sought like help, and like I've been told so many times by like some leaders or counselors or whatever, like over the years, it's like, I don't know how to help you, like at least in this particular area. Like, they've helped me in other areas, like because I've suffered with depression, anxiety, and like those are pretty common things among like all walks of life, and like stuff like that, like emotional stuff. But like this matter in particular, like, where do you go? Like, what do you do? Like, especially in my situation where I'm stuck in the middle. It's like, on one side will tell you like just give in, the other side will tell you don't, but it's like, but I'm still dealing with all this, and it's like there's so much. So I'm just going day by day. I'm doing me, because it's my life. I have to live it. Like, ain't nobody else can live it. Like, trust me, I tried. Be like, you come in here and live this life for me. Cause like it's hard, like, because you are the only person who can live your life and who has to live your life. You have to, because you're the only one who has insight to all the things that you deal with inside your head, because nobody else sees all that unless you share that with them. But even then, like, they don't have an entire big picture. Like, we are the only ones who have the individual big picture within ourselves. Well, us and God, of course. That's one of the major reasons why I love God, because he's my big picture partner. Like, because nobody else can see this. I have some longtime friends, like I have some family members who know me my whole life, but like there are so many parts of me that they don't know, or like people who just met me, they might know like a whole nother person, whole nother side of me, because humans are very multifaceted people, and it's impossible to share every single facet with every single person, and it's just life is complex, honey. Life is complex. And another thing, like you can only be confident for so long in a front or in like a mask, a false, you know, you can't be fronting forever. Like if you cannot be confident in like your realness, like everything that you have inside, if you can't be open, if you can't let your proverbial hair down or your metaphorical hair down, ooh, you gonna wear yourself out, because I've been there too, and I've seen plenty of people who've done that. Like if you ain't real, like I don't want you. Like I don't want you. Like take that mess somewhere else. I don't play with that anymore. Like ugh. Like I don't have time for all that. I'm getting too old. It's I have limited energy, and I want to save it for somebody who's real, you know? Like it's just like if you are not real, you might as well just leave me alone, because like nothing you say is just gonna it's it's nothing. Like I just like I no thank you. I don't want to hear it unless you are real. Like tell me your struggles, tell me what you are have dealing with, what you have dealt with, like, and then I'll listen to you, even if it's challenging. It's like as long as you have been through something, please come by. But if you have like never been through something like crazy, I don't want to hear it. Like no, you don't understand. Like you do not understand. I respect you. I'll be kind. I'll feed you. I'll clothe you. I'll like I'll shake your hand. I'll give you a genuine smile, because like I care about you. I care. Like I want you to get better, but I want you to be real. Like I need you to like shut all that away. Like leave that at the door. We don't do fake here. It's a scene change, but I just had to say, like, I've always been told, like, oh, Aaron, you're so bold, like, in sharing all this stuff and being so open, but, like, I thank the person and, like, thank you, sincerely. But, like, it always makes me feel sad when people say that, because that just makes me realize that we live in a culture where being open isn't always welcome, like, being open is, I don't know, there's criticism out there, and it's like we don't live in a culture where it's celebrated that you can just talk about what you want to talk about and do it safely. We live in a culture where it's like if you talk about like stuff that you deal with inside your head, you're crazy. It's like, oh, go to see a therapist. And it's like, I have things to say. Like, and I think it's probably just the way I've grew up. I don't know, I was always alone, so it's like I don't know, like if I have something to say, it's like I'm gonna say it, because like I don't know any better. Like for the first several times I was told that I was bold, like it threw me off guard. Like this is something you're supposed to be afraid of, because like I guess I just didn't have like that criticism or like that much like snap back of me opening my mouth like as a kid. Like I don't know, I never really talked to anybody as a kid, so I guess now it's like what there is there, and like I don't know what there is to be afraid of, because like if people don't like you or don't like what you have to say, it's like, okay, then go somewhere else then, or like if you want to stay here, I'll leave too. Like I don't care, like just okay, bye. I have other people to go to, and if I don't, I'm just gonna be by myself, because I've always been by myself, so it's like I'm not afraid of that either. Like just, you want to stay, you want to go, bye. No hard feelings. That's it. I had to get that all out of my chest. All right, y'all have a good Saturday. Live your best life.